We provide scholarships for young birders to go to different camps. And this one was in Maine. And Travis, I'll let you take it away.
All right. So, hello, everyone. My name is Travis Kaye, and I was awarded the Hog Island Audubon Camp Scholarship. Next slide. So, if any of you didn't hear, my name is Travis Kaye. I live in Huntington Woods, Michigan, with my parents and my older brother, and I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. I am a freshman at Berkeley High School. I play soccer, and I play the cello, and I like traveling with my family. And I like to do photography, mostly of birds, and most of the pictures in this presentation are taken by me, unless they're given credit. Next slide. These are my 2 beagles, wishing you a happy new year.
And no pets were harmed in the making of that picture, in case you're worried.
So how I got into birding. I became interested in birds at the age of 9. So I'm 14 years old now. So I've been at birding for about 5 years. I became interested in birds because my mom was a bird watcher. And my first trip focused onto birds was Point Pelee in late May of 2012. That's pretty good I got pretty good birds for our first day, including cedar waxwings and yellow warblers. And in my spark birds, I got to see my spark birds, and I became very enthusiastic about birds after seeing magnolia and blackbirdie and warblers. I think those are really my spark birds. I've been actively birding since then. And last year, I was awarded a scholarship to attend Hog Island teen camp by Detroit Audubon. Here's a map of Hog Island. And so, right there, that's Hog Island. And there's 2 parts to it. There's a smaller part and a much bigger part. The smaller part is where I stay during my camp, and the bigger part is where the Todd family cabin was, and it consists of hiking trails. Next slide. Here's a map of Maine. So I'm just gonna walk over here.
Oh, look, that's
Yeah,
cool.
Thank you.
The laser pointers don't work on that screen.
This is the Project Buffett Summer House. So, about right there, and that's right next to Hog Island. And over here is Eastern Egg Rock, and that's located 6 miles east of Hog Island, and I'll talk about that later in my presentation. Next slide. The history of Hog Island. So before you get to know Hog Island, I would like to tell you guys some history. It was once home to the Abenaki people, which were a Native American tribe, but then it became home to English settlers in the 1600s. It was primarily used for agriculture and timbering. Dr. David Todd and his wife Mabel fell in love with the island, purchased most of the island to conserve it, because at that point it was being timbered and logged, and they wanted to save it. Their daughter, Millicent, inherited the island in 1932, and she partnered with the National Audubon Society in 1935. The first nature camp, study camp, started in 1936 for teachers and adult students. The first director was Carl Butchheister, who in the years to come became president of the National Audubon Society. Other notable teachers include Roger Torrey Peterson of the Field Guide, Rachel Carson, and Ken Kaufman. Not to mention Dr. Steve Kress, the founder of Project Puffin. Next slide. What is Project Puffin? Right there is a picture of Dr. Steve Kress holding a puffin. Puffins used to nest in southern Maine. By the 1970s, the populations were reduced to 2 islands in northern Maine on the Canadian borderline. Dr. Steve Kress wanted to bring them back to their original breeding habitat in Maine. I mean, like southern Maine. And in 1973, Dr. Steve Kress and the National Audubon Society started Project Puffin. Project Puffin's original mission was to restore puffins to the historical nesting sites in the Gulf of Maine. More recently, Project Puffin has expanded to the restoration of all seabirds. This, yeah, all right, next slide.
By the way, I would mention that Stephen Kress is a recipient of Victoria Audubon's Conservation of the Year Award.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
He came and spoke here about
Oh,
that.
okay.
Project Puffin. And so, which one is the real puffin and which one is the fake one? Any hands?
The one on the right is the real one.
Yeah, the one with the mouth open
That's so good.
is the real one, and that's a fake one. I'll get into that later. Between 1973 and 1986, 954 young puffins aged 10 to 14 days old were transported from to Eastern Egg Rock from Newfoundland, Canada. Eastern Egg Rock, the island I showed on the previous map, is the primary location for the puffin conservation program. The puffins were raised by staff on the island, and they migrated in the fall of each year. And puffin decoys were used to lure the puffins back to Eastern Egg Rock, so they put them up on the island. By 1981, Eastern Egg Rock already had 4 puffins nesting on the island. Currently, there are 172 pairs on Eastern Egg Rock. And Project Puffin has helped to preserve other seabirds, such as the endangered roseate terns, Arctic terns, common terns, and least storm petrels. Slide. Oh, in the picture credit, courteous of Project Puffin. I did not take that. Atlantic puffins, adorable clown-like birds. They are 13 inches tall and have a very colorful beak. They breed and they nest on the rocky islands in the North Atlantic. They can be seen in Maine and eastern Canada in the summer. They often carry fish in their beak to feed their pufflings. In their feeding behavior, forage while swimming underwater. They can dive 50 feet under the surface of water, but have the ability to go 200 feet down. The diet includes fish and crustaceans, so they eat lance, herring, capelin, cod, shrimp, mollusks, and marine worms. And they breed at about 5 years, and they breed in colonies. And they usually have the same mate each year, and their nest site is in a burrow 3 to 7 feet long or in a natural crevice under the rock. May live to be more than 30 years old. There have been documented puffins that have lived. Next slide.
Did you take that
I
picture?
took that picture.
Jeez.
My camp experience, just to start our photo here of one of the highlights on my camp.
Take that one too?
Yes. All the photos that don't have photo credit under them are mine. That don't are mine. All right. So my itinerary. So our first day we did a shakedown cruise. Our second day we birded Hog Island. Our third day we birded the mainland. On the mainland from Hog Island. On the fourth day, we went out to Eastern Egg Rock, got to go on Eastern Egg Rock. And the fifth day, we did bird banding. Next slide. shakedown cruise, day one. This is a common loon I saw on the shakedown cruise. I have my picture too. So we took a boat out on Muscongus Bay, and we explored the hot spots for birds and other wildlife. Sightings and highlights include many common eiders, many black guillemots, many great black-backed gulls, multiple laughing gulls, multiple herring gulls, multiple double-crested cormorants, multiple loons. We saw a couple black scoters, saw a couple surf scoters, and we saw a harbor seal. This was one of my favorite days. It was really awesome. Here are some harbor seals seen during the shakedown cruise. So, day two, birding on Hog Island. So we did a nature walk around the trails of Hog Island. When we reached the end of the larger part of the island, we did an independent silent hike where we observed sights and sounds of the island and we drew it on a piece of paper. I heard a lot of cool birds, observed a lot of new bird and nature sounds. I only saw a few birds on this hike. Then I got to visit the artist in residence who stays at the original home of the Todd family. Then at the cabin, I got to sketch my surroundings. Here are some pictures of the Hog Island forest. Photo credit Sherry York from Hog Island Audubon Camp website. Here is the artist in residence cabin where the Todd family used to live. Mainland birding. So we didn't go out on the sea. We didn't bird on the island. We went out to the mainland this day, day three. So we went to a road called McCurdy Pond Road. Highlights were northern water thrush, scarlet tanager, and because I kind of wandered off of the group, I missed a ruffed grouse. Then after that, we stopped at Great Salt Bay Preserve. Highlights were many bobolinks, an American black duck, and we heard alder and yellow-bellied flycatcher. Then, after that, we went to Hidden Valley Nature Center, where we saw an ovenbird nest and a broadwing hawk. And the picture there is at Hidden Valley Nature Center. Then after that, we stopped at a field where we heard prairie warbler and saw a porcupine. Here's a broad-winged hawk. Top right in the photo. This is a broad-winged hawk taken at Hidden Valley Nature Center on day three. A porcupine found on Cider Road on day three. A bobolink seen at Great Salt Bay Preserve, day three. Can everyone see the bobolink in the photo? All right. Photo credit, Project Puffin, National Audubon Society. And this is the fourth day where we went out to Eastern Egg Rock. So we took out a trip to Eastern Egg Rock. I got to meet the Hog Island interns that live on the island. I spent 1 hour in an observation blind. Highlight birds include common tern, common eider, razorbill, Atlantic puffin, semi-palmated sandpiper, roseate tern, laughing gull, Arctic tern, and common loon. After that, I cut weeds to help preserve the habitat for the birds. And on the way back to Hog Island, we stopped at a cormorant nesting site. Photo credit, Adriana, who's one of my friends at camp. That's me in my blind, which is named Arizona. There are two common terns, top of my blind. Here's Eastern Egg Rock pictures. So these are all my pictures. 3 puffins taken from my blind. So razorbill taken from my blind. So common tern, after I went out of the blind. Here's Atlantic puffin taken from my blind. Here's a bunch of, there's in the water down there, you could see some puffins, and there's a bunch of terns just flying towards my blind. They did that a couple of times when I was in the blind. Here are 2 black guillemots taken from my blind. Here's a roseate tern taken from my blind. I had a lot of those near my blind. Common eider taken from my blind.
Make sure that one's turned on.
All right, now that everything's cool. All right. Here's an Arctic tern. I was picking up my friend, then there's just an Arctic tern, which I didn't get very many
You
out of
see
my
that
blind.
there's eggs in the
And there's
background?
eggs in the background.
I didn't see that before.
Here's a common tern on eastern egg rock. Here's a male Arctic tern offering a female Arctic tern a fish. Here's a laughing gull while doing my weed work. Here's a roseate tern taken from my blind. Here is a Savannah sparrow. I was
Beautiful shot.
really surprised they had song and Savannah sparrows breeding on the island. That was a Savannah sparrow when I got onto the island. And here is the cormorant nesting area on my way back to Hog Island.
We used to have savannas right here on Hog Island.
Wow. Day 5, banding birds. So we went out to Burnt Island. It's privately owned, but the owners let us use the island to band birds. And the bird banding had never been conducted there before. And bird highlights, birds that were banded have an asterisk. Red crossbills, Swainson's thrush, magnolia warbler, black-throated green warbler, white-throated sparrow, red-breasted nuthatch, American kestrel, golden crowned kinglet, and Atlantic puffins, seen pretty far out on the way back. Here's some pictures from the bird banding demo. And that's a golden crowned kinglet, and that's a red-breasted nuthatch. I actually got to hold and release that golden crowned kinglet. So, on the left is a white-throated sparrow. On the right is a magnolia warbler. And this is a picture of the fish house. We had evening educational programs and meetings every night while I was at camp. I would also like to mention that the food was amazing at camp.
What was the best food?
It's too hard of a question.
Fish.
All right, and so Hog Island Audubon is not only for teens. Below you can find a list of the 2018 camps, or you can visit Hog Island at Audubon.org, and I would highly recommend this camp. Final thoughts. This was a life-changing birding experience. I saw many new life birds and many new year birds. I made a lot of new friends, which was great. Me and my friends from camp still keep in touch through a group chat, and it's currently active. Which I find to be amazing. And I've even birded with some of my friends after camp, which I find that to be fun. And I had the opportunity to take some very nice pictures at camp. I would like to thank Detroit Audubon for this opportunity. I would like to thank my parents for all the support and help. And follow my bird photography account on Instagram at @savage_birder. Any of you follow?
Yeah.
Go. Brad, there's pictures.
He has a few more pictures.
Pictures? All right, this is me and my friend Adriana. That's me and my friend Oscar in Ohio. This is all of us on Eastern Egg Rock. Any questions?
Who were your instructors?
Oh,
Mention the family camp.
they weren't they weren't like the really experienced, like middle-aged people. They were kind of younger. Like I think our oldest conductor was maybe like 30 years old.
I don't remember their names.
I remember one of them was Corey. He was in like college. One of them, yeah. It's been a while, and I don't remember a lot of their
But they were
names.
mainly like college students that were teaching, or?
They were 20s or early 30s.
I can answer this. There was one very experienced instructor, and I